Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Silver Tears. We're going into the inbox today for another question, and we're going to ask. There are several of you who are asking some variation of the question of why is my person being so quiet? Why do they feel like they cannot share? They're being so invulnerable. What makes them feel like they have to, in some cases, hide, in some cases, run away? We've seen the example in these readings before where it feels like somebody's running up the steps with like a monster chasing them, but they can't even turn around to see what the monster is. It's a really fear-based situation. We know that, but we're looking to understand a little bit more about what's causing your person to be so quiet. So we're going to look into that today. And we're going to start by looking to see just kind of what sticks out about the situation. So, of course, it's going to be a general reading as usual. And it's going to be for this collective. So it's not going to resonate with everybody. But if you are somebody who it does resonate with, you may consider that you may want to subscribe and become part of the listening group, part of the collective. The people who listen, that's kind of the energy that comes in for the readings. And so it's interesting because I've watched as the group has grown a little. The messages, there are a lot of things about the messages that have really remained the same. So it's very much a connected set of readings. So we're going to go ahead and jump in. We're looking at really why is your soulmate being so quiet, and we're going to start with looking at the energetic backdrop and just kind of seeing what it is that sticks out the most in today's energy. Right away, we've got the death card coming out. It's kind of sideways a little bit, but this is the way it wants to be read. So, a little bit. The reason that I think it came out sideways is because there are some elements of it in the upright as well. With the death card, this one is about change. It's not about physical death, it's about a change that occurs that allows space for something new to rise in its place. Okay. And so, in this case, there is something that is changing, but there's an outrageous amount of resistance to this change. Just a kicking and screaming level of resistance. So that is the first thing that comes out in today's energy. Definitely a resistance, a very strong resistance to the change that seems to be coming through just in the energy. There's something that needs to be let go, is being let go. So we saw this in not this full moon that we just had, but the previous full moon. We saw we saw this sense of the ability to let go kind of had begun, and that might have been what started to maybe bring up the edge on all this energy that we've been experiencing. So okay, I'll get to this Two of Wands here in a second, but essentially, this is that same impasse the two of you have been having. It's back at on the front burner again. So that's true for both of you, but it is especially exacerbated by the fact that you started this letting go process about a month ago, and it is particularly difficult then to reconcile everything that's happening with I'm walking away, I'm letting go, I'm actually doing it. I'm going to let this end. I'm going to, there's this whole plan maybe that you've had, and your person has been trying to walk away or run away for a much longer time. So, this effort around letting go seems like maybe it just kind of opened things up for you a little bit. And then we have the sense of this impasse that we've seen throughout the readings. The thing that's different between the two of you, the thing that makes things particularly tough. So, there may be an age gap, and in some cases, there's for sure an age gap, but there may also be a socioeconomic gap, political difference, racial difference, things that you just never know, things that could be a problem for someone but aren't always a problem. Okay. But you're getting to a place here in this energy, especially what we have today. This is really kind of a reckoning. If you feel like it's coming to a fever pitch, this is the same kind of thing that's coming through in these cards. But the good news is this is the darkness before the dawn, sort of, in a way, because we're about to start to see some of the clarity as things start to calm down a little bit in the emotions. So that's on the edges, but you're not quite there yet. There's still, no, these aren't part of the reading. There's still a lot of tumultuous energy happening. And it's like you're in those tumultuous waters moving to the calmer waters. And so you can almost see like the edge of the storm, but you're not quite out of it yet. And right now, like I said, that impasse that you guys have been experiencing, the mental or emotional distance that needs to be bridged between the two of you, it is very much feeling kind of center stage or front burner, as I was saying before. We have the Hierophant card that has come out here all by itself in the reverse. This is around that guidance that you might feel like you need, but you're not feeling like you're able to hear or not able to get enough of it. Feeling like you're maybe kind of being left hanging a little bit. You're being encouraged to allow a little bit more stillness. There's the stillness coming with the edge of the storm. But even before that, see if you can allow a little bit of stillness within yourself because there may be additional messages out there that it's just really tough to get, just really tough to capture. So we've got the Lover's card in reverse, the Star card in the upright, and then the Hermit card in the upright. The way that these are coming out. So the Lover's card is about the bond between the two of you, but the fact that it's in the reverse really is just feeling like there's no recourse. There's not a way for the two of you to come together. But the Star card is saying there's still this hope that won't die. There's still this feeling. In your side, it feels like hope that won't stop. On their end, it feels a little bit more like something that won't let go of them. So they're spending some time in their hermit cave, their thinking cave, just like you've been doing, and are you are both encouraged to continue doing that because it's going to yield you some pretty good results as far as what you're able to discern at this time if you're able to quiet things down enough to be able to hear the messages. I feel like that's going to be the tricky bit for you guys to be able to sit in the hermit cave long enough and without being interrupted emotionally, such that you can actually sit down and have the types of thoughts that you need to have. Okay, so we have a couple more cards that have come out here, and then we're done with this first pile with the energetic backdrop piece. So there's a desire to almost hide coming from this card. It's about not struggling, but it seems a little bit more than that. It's almost like being willing to dig a hole and just hide in it until things pass over. But the problem is it's not passing over very easily. They've seen something that they're not able to unsee. This is part of what has kind of rocked their world. This is the relationship with you and the energy that's been happening here. That has been rocking their world since the time that the two of you since the two of you really started to gel together. You know, there was this initial response that you had to one another, but that was the soul recognition that, you know, you won't forget that moment, but there's another moment. And ever since that one, they've got something that they're just terrified of and they can't seem to shake it no matter how deep of a hole they dig. So there's something going on with regard to them feeling a little bit of despair there, like they can't get far enough away from the memory of this, and it's starting to create almost a panic in them. So in you, you're getting something almost kind of similar, but it all comes down to that letting go that you started doing about a month ago. And the thing is that, you know, it started, and lots of you started much earlier than that, but this was something that came through in the lunar energy about a month ago that has shaken things up and seemed extra strong. Not unlike this full moon that we have recently had that seems like it has a lot of very strong energy associated with it as well. So we're going to take a look then at the question that brought us here, and that's what is keeping them so quiet and so unwilling to share, and what is keeping them from allowing themselves to be vulnerable. So we see a little bit of that over here, kind of in the first segment. A little bit of what's creating the issue. You can see that mindset, and really that's kind of what we were looking at. We're looking at the energy that's going to create that mindset. And so you have somebody trying to hide and just do anything they can to kind of get away from something that feels like it's inevitable, and like there's a lot of hope that shines forth from it, but there's maybe not a lot of options about it. There's something that gets in the way, and in some cases we know we've got a third party energy that complicates things as well. But that's not even wanting to come up here. At one point it kind of did, but it was like, you know what, it's in the background compared to the rest of what's going on here. There's still something that has to be past, some kind of bridge that has to be covered or crossed before you're going to be able to really get to a place where they're going to be able to share. So let's look more deeply into that and understand what it is that's creating. Boy, the cards are coming out fast today. What's creating that? Okay, so we have their unwillingness to partner, but it's deeper than just an unwillingness to partner with you. You're going to see this in their interactions with other people. So they have lost their ability to connect with other people in general. The last couple of years have been particularly tough for people, and all the rules have changed kind of socially. And so, one of the things that you'll notice is some people are having a tougher time with this, and instead of reaching out to get their bearings, they reach inside and kind of dig a hole. And so, that's something that the energy of the last couple years has had a lot of impacts on different people. And so that's just something that you'll want to keep in mind as well. Could be somewhat relevant to what everyone has experienced and continues to experience. So we've got the Six of Pentacles. Now, this is significant. And we've got the Sun card in reverse. Couldn't be clearer. Okay, so when the Sun card comes out in reverse for us, oftentimes in these readings, it's talking about a missed opportunity. And this is no exception. This is absolutely feeling like it's a missed opportunity. This is something that they are turning away because they aren't sure how to handle it. They remember that the give and take between the two of you was not particularly equal, and they don't feel good about it. So there's a fair amount of shame there, but there's also this feeling that you probably aren't going to talk to them anyway. Just like when we talked to the divine masculine and he gave us his words, which thank you again, that if you're listening, that was amazing. And if you ever want to talk again, we can do that. People definitely are interested to hear what a person in that divine masculine position is thinking. But one of the things that we remember our divine masculine that we talked to said was that he didn't think she wanted a phone call. He didn't think she wanted to hear from him, and that he wouldn't want to hear from him. There's a little bit of that feeling that kind of sticks out here with this card, with the Six of Pentacles. And with the Sun in reverse, that's just telling us that that's kind of the missed opportunity that happened there. Yeah, we've got the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords is a card of stress and anxiety, not being able to sleep, not being able to rest. And that's part of the reason that your person remains quiet. They would like to be more calm and collected, the way that they perceive you to be, which we've seen in other readings. That they perceive you to be like the Nine of Pentacles, and they would like to be that before they would be able to reach out to you. But right now they're feeling like the Nine of Swords, which is that anxiety and all the things I just described, the difficulty sleeping. Oh, okay. We've got a couple of cards here that I think that's it, that want to come out, but we're going to take them in the order that they came out, with the Moon card coming first, or I guess in the order that they want to be taken. So the Moon card coming out in the reverse is, this is about secrets coming out. It's not really a secret though. Okay, so this is the same message that we've been seeing. There's truth that has become evident to them, truth that has become evident. We've seen the Ace of Swords, we've seen the Moon in reverse, we've seen sometimes even the High Priestess in reverse, because this is a secret that is coming out to them on all levels. And it's not really a secret, it's a truth, but it comes out to them on every level. The spiritual level, they're getting it there. They're also seeing it in the physical. They can't stop being reminded of it. You have brought this to them, and it's something that they've seen, they can't unsee, like I was saying over here, but it's also something that they have a very hard time absorbing. They have a hard time understanding truly what it is that is happening with them. With the Seven of Cups in the upright, this is about it's about the choices that they have before them, and them not being able to even ascertain what those choices are, much less make good sense out of them. So that's kind of the feeling that's happening there, and it helps to cloud things, and that helps to keep them quiet because every day they realize that it's been so long. Waiting one more day or one more hour is not going to be, it's not going to really change anything, which of course on your end you may feel very differently. They have the desire to come your direction, but they're not ready to try out what they've learned. So in a lot of cases, they've learned a lot from you. This is the type of relationship that you guys have been brought together to learn something. You've sparked lessons within one another, and so that's significant, and that's part of the energy that keeps them coming. This is about the lessons learned. This is the Nine of Wands in reverse, and I've talked about the wall that no longer needs to be guarded. Like they figured out some walls that no longer need to be guarded on an intellectual level, but they haven't exactly been able to figure out how to put that into play. And that's something that we've seen over and over too, where we've seen um, they have this desire. They're lit from within to want to move toward you and want to do something productive, to want to make things right. We've seen that card come out, the justice card come out over and over, talking about they want to establish balance. Even the temperance card looking to establish that balance across their entire life. The thing is, they feel like you're a threat to that balance as well as the answer to that balance. And so they're drawn toward you, but they don't know how to get there exactly with the lessons that they've learned, but not exactly knowing how to put those into play. So some of them have gone into these third party situations and not known how to put them into play. Um, we had the Empress card come up as almost an honorable mention a moment ago, and the only message that really wanted to come off of that was they are still not ready. They're still not ready to have a communication and to be good with you. Like they can't figure out how to let down their guard. They can't figure out how to stop guarding that wall, and they are not getting pushed forward on this from the universe. They're feeling the push from within themselves, and there's a lot of energy swirling around them, but the universe is not specifically pushing them. It's like that. I don't remember which reading it was recently, and I was telling you about a meditation I used to do when I was younger, where I was a stone in a fast moving river, and you just, the river goes past you, but you just remain this stone. And that's almost like the energy is protecting your person to be this stone, and everything is going around them and they're aware of it. They need to be able to calm down to be able to recognize that so that they can get what they need to get from this. That's going to be the beginning of the path that allows them to become less quiet and more vulnerable. And people are all over the place. So we've got people that are married to one another, but who are unable to communicate. So it's not like they're in separation, haven't seen each other for years. It's more like this person, and I've said this one before, this person is sitting across the room from me, but the separation is very real. I mean, these are difficult situations where your person has to begin to unpack what's happened there. They have limits on what they're able to do as far as emotions. They have limits on where they allow themselves to go emotionally because they don't want to be perceived a certain way. They definitely want to be able to have some control over what happens in their thoughts and in their feelings. And so there's a lot of control and fear that drives the what's keeping them less willing to share, what's keeping them from being vulnerable. There's so much fear, and I've now seen something that I think I know how to process, but it scares me. We're going to look in the extended about how they're feeling about you, because it's like we want to zoom in on this 10 of cups and just understand a little bit better what it means, because we know that they've seen something that seems too good to be true in you. We know also that they can't unsee it, and that it's part of the thing that's keeping them quiet as they pull all of what they know together, but they're not really able to pull it together in a coherent fashion or in a cohesive fashion, because a lot of times they still need to be able to take that step back so that they can really take it all in. And we've seen a lot of not being able to do that. But we're going to get their emotional side when we get into the extended, just to kind of round this out a little bit more. But first, I want to get the lessons for you. You know, we go into lessons in every reading rather than asking what's going to happen, because every time we ask what's going to happen, we get told the truth is you don't really need to know what's going to happen. You don't need to understand the future. There are things that are going to help you move through it. What you need to do is move toward your lessons. And so we started asking the question very clearly, well, what are those lessons? Um, and I was doing readings periodically to ask that question, and I realized that's not enough, and that we need to do a request for your lessons in every reading, because that's why the people in this collective are here. It's not just to, come together with a group of people that gets it and that feels what they're feeling. I mean, that's part of it, but it's also, how do we help climb out of this? How do we help ourselves climb out of this? This is a very solitary sort of experience, a very solitary journey that people are on, because in a lot of cases we feel like that we there's nobody we can talk to, and there's nobody certainly that you can talk to about this and on this level. And so this collective is a very special place, because we are just going to go ahead and talk about it, and it's your place for that. But we also are here to help solve the issues and to help you be happier and move toward the reconciliation of self, and ultimately reconciliation with this person, as far as that goes. So some of you, it's going to be more of a reconciliation that is within yourself, that ends up being closure you provide yourself. So these lessons help you get to that. And in some people, it will be more of a, they'll come together in more of a reunion. We have a lot of you that are already in reunion or in union on the spiritual plane, but several will come back into union here on the physical as well. So we've got the Prince of Wands that's come out here in the reverse. And it's like the cards are listening to us. So the feeling coming off of this one is um, this is like the Knight of Wands in reverse, and it's that one that sometimes gets read as the player. In this case, that sometimes it acts that way, but really what it is that jumping in and jumping out and jumping in and out sort of emotion. What this is talking about is your ability to manage yourself within that energy, because you're going to have people that jump in and jump out periodically, and their energy comes in and out. And in fact, you've had them tons of times before, but here's the one that bothers you. The one that we've been reading about bothers you because there's something associated with this energy um, that sets you off. Like, it's not something that you've ever appreciated. Okay, you're encouraged to lead with love, and to send and interact in only love. So that's a message that has been wanting to come up lately. The We've seen the message that has come up around being able to give and receive love in equal measure. So it's like breathing, so you're never quite out of, you're always in balance. And this is suggesting not only that, but to lead, like, all of your everything should come from a place of love, even the things where you're correcting someone. You've got this Ace of Wands, and it is suggesting that whatever is associated with this behavior this person does, the one where they kind of don't give you an equal give and they don't give you equal give and take, like we talked about over here. They've created what they know to be this missed opportunity, but they can't seem to communicate anyway. And this energy has quite an effect on you. One of the things that it does is distract you from and detract energy from what you would ideally be doing, the thing that you would ideally be spending your passion on. So the tricky bit is you had to meet this person and get involved here in order to unlock the passion that this person's situation, kind of your situation with this person, is now sort of blocking you from, if that makes sense. Um, Okay. So we've got the Six of Wands in reverse. This is a card saying that the battle is not quite yet over. So in the upright, it's victory at the end of a battle, or after a long battle. But you still very much have things to learn. So with this Page of Pentacles, you are encouraged to, while using the lessons that you've been receiving, also continue to keep yourself very open. We've seen this Page of Pentacles come up a lot. We're going to dig deeper into this when we get into the extended two, along with the emotions that are happening with your person, because there is something about you and communication that is going to have to, I don't want to say change. It doesn't feel like it needs to change. It needs to evolve. There's like My goodness, it's like there's a fear of talking on the phone or something that wants to come out, because when the Knight of Cups comes out with the Queen of Wands, whatever this is, that you're going to fix this thing within yourself because this person has called your attention to it. But it's going to impact you in other areas of your life, whether it's an anxiety about getting on the phone or an anxiety about leaving the house, or even if it's kind of a just, I don't like to go to certain places, or some people don't want to leave the house at all. There's some kind of anxiety around communication that you maybe felt that this is going to completely remove. It will also make things better around that passion that we've been looking at. And we've got the King of Swords. That's that ability, like we were seeing with your person needing that ability to step back and take a look at the big picture. This is it. You're having both the ability and the need to step back and take a look at the situation and just kind of understand what there is to understand. So we've also got the tower, and you are recommended to lean into it. So I have sometimes I get very intuitive like words that form in my mind, and sometimes it's during these readings. Usually that's how I get my messages when, in times of need. Okay. But every once in a while, it'll pop in during a reading, and it'll be formed in words rather than feelings that I then have to interpret. So I'll have very specific words. And this one, as soon as the tower came out, it was like, tell them to lean in. Okay, so this is it. This is an awesome opportunity. We've been seeing it. There are a couple of opportunities for you. One that's kind of upon you around the time of the full moon, and then another that seems like it's still coming. So you've got this opportunity to really make an emotional shift for yourself, and you are encouraged to embrace that. You are also going to be fighting against overthinking and fear. Do this. Do the King of Swords thing and back up and look at the big picture and say, okay, what am I really looking at here? Because it is entirely possible, not possible, probable, inevitable, one might say, that you could get lost in the details if you go in and spend too much energy on that. So let's get you a quick oracle card before we go to the extended. And there's a lot kind of cooking for you right now. You have plenty to keep you busy while this person is being quiet and learning figuring out their own thing. That's one of the things that has been popping up, and one of the reasons that we have to have lessons kind of in each of the readings, because otherwise I don't think we could do enough readings to be able to keep up with it. We're already doing them every day, and there's new information coming out to kind of round out what we already knew each time. So we've got feel and release. Started last month with that Four of Pentacles in the reverse. Feel and release. Release all you've accumulated on this journey. Now, I really like that. I love releasing all you've accumulated on this journey in particular, because it's not just with it will come off some of the things that you've accumulated much earlier on. But the feeling of being cleansed in the soul is what you're after. And feel and release, kind of like catch and release. Go ahead and experience it, but then let it go, so that you can have the experiences and learn from them, and you can have the gratitude of having had the experience. But then you get to let it go and not continue to feel and feel and feel what's happened. So I'm going to go ahead and stop there, and we're going to move into the extended, and the link for that is down below. We are going to get into your person's emotional side of why they're being so quiet and hard to reach. And we're also going to dig into your lessons a little bit more deeply, as always. And so, if you are going to be one of the folks that goes over to the extended, I'll see you there. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.